the Coach Bergen Show. Kinda like Truman, but Coach, here we go. What will we see? Oh, I don't know. But I'm here enjoying life and going with the flow.
Can't forget about Coach Bergen. And if you don't got Coach Bergen, you ain't got shit.
Okay, right. People like to say they're washed up, whatever. I'll tell you one thing, I ain't motherfucking washed up.
What's up, Coach Bergen here, and welcome to the Coach Bergen Show, episode 72. Our guest today is the Fight Plan Pro Recovery Specialist, Dr. Maurice Disley.
There we go. Hey, how's it going?
How's it going, man? Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm living the dream.
Yeah.
Living the dream. It's going to be a good day.
Absolutely. Good weather. Can't complain too much. Good to finally meet you in person and everything, too, or, virtually as
Yeah,
much as we can get right
of course. Of course. We'll definitely meet in person one day because we're not too far from each other because you're out of
now.
Amherst, right?
Yeah. I'm in Amherst, and then I'm also in Ludlow, so I'm still in, the Western Massachusetts area, so, yeah,
Okay.
you're not super far,
Cool.
which is
I grew up
great.
in Western Mass, so,
What part?
I had an MMA team that I was working with in Westfield that was originally in Holyoke. So, I'm right around that area.
Okay, nice.
But I know, Amherst is still a little bit further out from there. It's like an hour or so
Yeah.
from where I am, probably.
Okay.
So, not too bad, though. But,
No.
so, the doctor is in, and welcome to the Coach Bergen Show, episode 72. And so you are going to be a part of Fight Plan Pro as the specialist for recovery. So how did you get into this aspect of recovery for fighters?
Yeah, so growing up, I competed in wrestling, and I ended up actually having a bad injury when I was in high school. So I got hit by a car riding my bike, and I ended up having to go to physical therapy for it. Honestly, I got some basic rehab. I ended up having a nerve injury to my neck and shoulder that derailed my sophomore and junior season for wrestling season. And basically that kind of turned me into PT as a field. I ended up having some residual nerve damage where my right arm is actually significantly smaller than my left, which kind of turned me into the field of PT. I actually was able to kind of rehab myself from that. And I never wanted to have somebody have the experience that I had. So I kind of wanted to make it a mission of getting good care for people. I was able to wrestle my senior season, which was great. And then over the past few years, I've followed the combat sports a whole bunch. I started doing jiu-jitsu a few years ago, became pretty much like a big junkie for it. And through being a PT, realizing a lot of the injuries and things that kind of built up from training so much, and then wanting to self-rehab myself. Once people you're on with find out you're a PT, they want to kind of ask you recovery tips and kind of just giving and helping out as much as possible, because there was no worse feeling than it's your favorite training partner being off the mat because they're broken because they just train too much, or if there's something that goes on, and just trying to find different ways to help keep athletes in the gym longer, keep them in stronger. And the hard part is when people do get an injury, they'll go see a medical provider that kind of just tells them to stop. And that had been really frustrating to hear is, well, maybe you should pick a different sport. Why train so much? You really want to do that? They still kind of have it as a bad overall idea of the sport, be it jiu-jitsu, wrestling, MMA training, kickboxing, striking. Everybody kind of doesn't understand the art behind it too. And so I want to provide a way to keep people in the gym, and people have these big goals and these big dreams. I want to help support in any way that I possibly can. And it's kind of been my long-winded answer, my long-winded mission, at least, to help folks out and to keep them thriving in the gym. And they have such a fire to not let pain stop them. Sometimes people hide an injury, but to have somebody who understands the sport, understands what the demands are, and has a more of a, all right, how can we work through this type of mindset? I think it's a good resource for sure.
Right. Instead of being the person, like you were explaining, the doctors will say, no, don't do it, or go, do less, or do a different sport. You're more with the mentality that's similar to theirs of, let's figure out how we can do it in the safest way possible, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, definitely. You have a lot of people that want to treat, just a symptom. They'll give you a brace, they'll give you a cortisone shot, they'll offer
Mm,
surgery. Where I've had plenty of people come see me that have had bad MRIs, and people are recommending surgery, and we've been able to get them back to training, being able to get them, back moving and feeling better, not only inside the gym, but also just in general in life. So I tend to be some people's like last ditch effort, which I'm really proud about, is getting more people on the mats and people enjoying their life without having to have that long layoff of rehab.
right, of course. So, if you could give any one piece of advice to help someone prevent injury, what would it be?
Just one piece. That's always the hard part.
We can do three if you want.
My top three is focus on the things that you're doing outside of the gym. A lot of times your recovery, when in terms of sleep, your stress management. Some people really are crashing hard. They're only running off of 4 or 5 hours of sleep. They don't know why their performance is really bad. It is majoring in the minors. It's the basic things of your sleep, your stress management, your nutrition, your hydration. I go over this with every athlete that comes in, and we really dive into an area that it's a building block for them that is a key piece for their recovery. A really quick, easy effort is having some form of a strength training program. I describe it like armor for your body. You don't have to be training like a power lifter. You don't have to be doing CrossFit workouts, but having some 2, 3 day a week program that has you jumping and doing something athletic so your tendons stay agile is huge. And just the resistance so that your body can hold up through hard grappling days. Those are some really, really big pieces that often get overlooked. And recovery wise, I would still say even a proper warm up for mobility, even something as simple as, 3, 5 moves I give somebody to start out with. I just had someone last week who's a great amateur fighter, and I gave him two things. From our time together, I said, this is going to be the biggest thing for your time. He messaged me and was like, hey, they're going super smooth. I feel better. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Most times people just do like 5 toe touches and then they get in.
Okay.
So if you go in too cold, I try and give somebody a little bit more of a dialed in warm up that they would really need and benefit from.
Okay. And so is it usually specific to each individual, or does everybody have basically the same kind of things that they could do?
You'll see some patterns that pop up for folks, but I really like to make things customized. So when somebody works with me, it's not cookie cutter. They've probably had cookie cutter in the past, and sometimes that just burns time. So we're really looking for something that, is specific to you. It hits the nail on the head. It gets exactly the right dosage of what we need for the right amount. And you're not spending 20, 30 minutes doing a warm up. If I give somebody 10 exercises, they're going to look at me and think I'm crazy and not do them. So
Mm,
I'd rather give them, 2, 3 tools that they can use immediately, get the relief, get the needle moving forward of what we want, and then being able to go from there, rather than just anybody can pull something up in Google, but it might not be exactly what you need. So making it that tailored approach, I always say, is more important.
yeah, absolutely. And then having, that perspective of somebody who does know it is definitely a better option sometimes than just looking it up, because when you look it up, you're not gonna really know what you're looking for, and there might be variables you're not paying attention to. But if you were to do an assessment with a fighter, you're probably going to see a lot of things that they might not realize.
Yeah, we like to look at a lot of different things when somebody comes in. Life outside of the gym, what the routine looks like inside the gym. Anything, we try to leave no stone unturned, especially when it comes to like nutrition, when it comes to their mobility, their warm ups, and then that boils it down at the end of the day of like, what are you looking to get? What do you need to feel successful? And most of the times, like you get that answer, it's like we can provide that for you, which is always great.
So what's coming to my mind a lot as I'm talking to you is Mike Dolce, the UFC guy. How do you differ from what he did?
So I read his books. I know he had like the 21 day shred. He had the Dolce diet, which was great. and he's taken it from a fighter specific, and he's really branched out and he brought it to the public masses. A lot of the same thing, even for Joel Jameson. I have his conditioning book, which was an amazing read. I took his conditioning certification course. I love Bioforce. He's taken the same thing because that he used for Rich Franklin, Demetrius Johnson, and he's brought it to the general public as well. And it kind of just re-boils it all down to looking at somebody very specifically of what are you consuming? What are you eating? What are your habits like? Where you can take something that's a print off from the internet, but to have somebody who's having the accountability check and saying, hey, here's the top 3 things we really want to focus on in terms of your hydration, whether you're doing it before practice and making sure that you're getting some food in your body during training. How is your weight cut going? Where's your weight at? Noticing any fluctuation. So it's kind of somebody who's able to steer the ship a little bit more in the right direction, where I think that's what Mike Dolce's done a really great job originally, and now he's kind of brought it a lot more mainstream in that sense. And then I think even I love Jordan Lockhart and stuff that he's doing for weight cuts. I think you even have Fight Cut Pro or Weight Cut Pro is another person you see a lot on social media where they're able to give a lot of good broad base answers for people, but sometimes people like to have more of it dialed in and specific just based off of how their body reacts and kind of a break in case of emergency type of thing, and knowing when to push forward in a cut, knowing what's good weight loss, when to start, changing calories or sodium, just to have that as a good reference person in your corner.
So you also focus on the nutrition aspect as well, right?
Yeah, I like to try and be a one-stop hub. So I'm a precision nutrition certified coach, and then weight cut certification as well to help people in terms of just even giving general guidance in terms of making a smart and healthy weight cut. In general, weight cutting is, not the most ideal, but it is, in terms for the sport of what you're able to do. And people in the olden days doing laxatives, people doing, we had a guy he used to chew on quench gum, and he would just spit out all the spit and extra saliva that he had just so you could shed any last little bit of water that people are doing. And
I remember people doing that in wrestling. They would chew, dip, and then they would spit into a bottle, or chew gum and spit into a bottle just to get rid of all the extra, liquid they could.
Any bit possible. And that's where even too, in terms of having a good base layer of strength really helps. So if you have a lot of muscle, which absorbs a lot of water, so you can kind of really squeeze it like a sponge. One of the other things that we use is a resting metabolic rate test. So that shows you kind of your baseline testing of, if you did no activity, how much calories does your body burn just to be alive, to function, to pump your heart, to move cells, to regrow cells. And that gives you kind of a baseline. Here's how many calories you need to actually live. And then we also look at in terms of what's your output, how many hours of activity are you doing? Are we looking to gain weight, lose weight? And that kind of gives us a rough outline and number for if we're several weeks out from a fight, that how are we able to smartly adjust calories to allow for healthy weight loss, as opposed to cutting everything too fast, your body shuts down, and then you're really trying to play catch up. So trying to work not overly harder, but we're definitely trying to work smarter as you're working hard in the gym and in and outside the gym.
Yeah, and you probably are able to help them set it up in a way where it's less likely to be a miserable experience and, a little bit easier of a weight cut. Because I know a lot of the time it'll just be people that just go to a sauna and stop eating is how they'll make the weight. But you probably have, more of a guided approach is what it's sounding like. And so let's get into this. Is there any way you can think of that we could eliminate weight cutting from the sport?
I mean, you would really have to have a global, I wouldn't even look at it in a hydration test. And if you treat it like a professional in that sense too, where you're really trying to stay, 80-20 healthy, 70-30, I can understand maybe a little bit in terms of your diet. You have too many guys where I just read an article yesterday about Paddy Pimblett being, he fights at 55. I think he's ballooned still up to 180, 190, and he's several weeks out from his fight. It's just, you have too many yo-yos, and it creates a lot of long-term health problems.
Probably metabolism is a big thing, as you get older.
your metabolism, your kidneys. There's just too much of a function. Your brain health, and even for the female fighters too, it's like your endocrine system, your hormones go absolutely haywire because your body's just on such a high alert when you're trying to drop 20, 30, 40 pounds in between camps or trying to get ready for a fight, that to eliminate weight cutting as much as possible is people being in more of a well-rounded diet. Oftentimes you're seeing more people who do go up in a weight class. They are performing better because it's like, yeah, your body's giving itself what it needs. And I can understand if you move up in that like 10-pound weight class where, the next topic would be, let's have more weight classes too. Let's actually, increase the opportunities for fighters instead of saying, too big of a jump. Those are always some big topics, but if everybody's able to be in a check-in of like a certain amount that they're at, and that's kind of like almost in the wrestling sense when you're in high school, if you get certified at a weight class and a potential of where you can move up and down a weight class, that just kind of
Right.
ties it into making it a little bit easier. But or if you have more weight classes where instead of a 10, 15, 20-pound jump, it is maybe 5 or so, and you can have more notoriety of champions, more notoriety of contenders, double champs. If you really wanted to, venture out in a healthy way, that could still be beneficial for folks.
Yeah, I've heard the theory of more weight classes will solve the weight cutting, but at the same time, what I'm convinced would happen is it might create more weight cutting because if you are walking around 163 pounds, you could cut to 155, let's say, pretty healthily, but then, now there's a 150 weight class, so you might be more likely to cut that extra 5 pounds. And I don't really know if there's a real solution to it. It's really just kind of wishful thinking
Yeah.
to get rid of the bad part of the sport, because that's probably the most unhealthy part of it is draining all the life out of you before you step into the cage to fight somebody. Like I
Yeah.
think you're going to be more likely to get CTE, brain damage. More likely to get knocked out as well because there's no cerebral fluid around the brain, and or at least less. But I think also what I think could help it at least to be better is to have a second weigh-in the day of. But then I actually have kind of gone backwards on that thought because I had a guest on my podcast the other day, Gianni, I want to say Vasquez is his last name, but he has had a few fights in the UFC, and he was telling me that in California they do that second weigh-in. And so he was saying that the day of his fight, he had to get back on the bike to lose that last couple pounds before the final weigh-in to be able to, fight at that weight class. And so I feel like that would also be happening too, where, you wouldn't just gain back a healthy amount. You would gain back whatever you do and then lose it again. And so I don't know what the real solution would be. But
We're here to solve the MMA world's problems. We're gonna get this nailed down today,
Yes.
whether it works or kills us. Yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot of different avenues. I've definitely heard like the second day weigh-in, and certain athletic commissions are making the suggestion at least of like, yeah, you should go up in a weight class. I mean, I was even just listening to the recent Rogan podcast with John McCarthy on today, and he was talking about a Max Holloway fight where he was more than 30 pounds from when he went to weigh into fight day in
Wow.
a 24-hour period. And going back to like the dehydration, and if you are 1 to 2% less dehydrated, if you have 1 to 2% of your body weight loss in fluid, you are impaired cognition, headaches, impaired movement and agility. So you think about trying to replenish your body after having such a brutal weight cut. And that's where you can see a couple of guys that have had tough weight cuts when they go into the fight, and it really shows in their performance where, they burn all the matches. They can't quite get it done early, and it kind of sets them up for a tough scene as things go forward.
Right. And I think the way that's going to fix it is people going up in weight and just doing really good. And not even necessarily going up in weight, but just fighting at the right weight class,
Yeah.
So an example I like to give when I bring all this up, and you might even know his name. Do you know who VIP Ali is? Ali Zebian? He's out of Massachusetts. But
That sounds familiar.
he's ranked number one at 170 in New England, and he walks around about 165 pounds. And so, he was fighting at 155 for the longest time, and then even like 145 at his amateur career. But the 145 was just way too much of a weight cut for him.
Yeah.
And in 155, he won't admit it, but I would see him slow way down in the third round and just like not even be the same fighter. And I feel like that was because of the weight cut, because his conditioning was fine, but not factoring in the amount of water weight he's sucking out of him the last day, and or a day before or whatever. But so yeah, I think that going up in weight or fighting at your natural healthy weight is a better way of doing it, because I've seen
100%.
I've seen that it works. And
Yeah.
he's told me like that he has way more energy, and he has no desire to cut weight again. So
Yeah.
I think
And the
that
proof is in the pudding, if he's, highly ranked, performing really well, and it's like his natural walking around weight, like that's fantastic, where there's more room to grow from there in terms of strength and endurance and ability, and even just talent wise, that can, really help, where those extra couple of pounds and, just in terms of the training wise, your body just feels overall healthier, and you have a better longevity going into it.
yeah, and then a better experience fight week as well, where you'll
Oh yeah.
actually be up for doing media and up for doing the podcasts and up for doing, the promo stuff you got to do to sell tickets, But when it's like, when you are cutting the weight, that becomes a lot more of a stressful experience, and it becomes something that you almost don't want to do. But it's something that kind of needs to get done as a fighter as well, because you need to market yourself and, get yourself out there.
Yeah,
But
when you have too many people hounding you for tickets and you haven't eaten, and it's just your whole nervous system really starts to build up, where the idea around fight week is you're trying to be as relaxed and calm as possible, not having anything else really like nitpicking at you as you're going through the week, for sure.
right. And then not having to worry about the weight is just like probably a lot easier as well, I imagine. I mean, I haven't had to cut weight. Thankfully, I'm not, a big guy. When I did fight, I was at 125, and I was walking around about 120 pounds anyway. So, I should have been at like a 115 weight class, but it
Yep.
didn't really exist at the time. And I don't even know if it exists now. But I'm going to tell you a story real quick. It's not, necessarily fight related, but I think you'll enjoy it. So about 10 years ago, I was in a coma, and the doctors had told my parents that best case scenario, I was going to be in a vegetative state the rest of my life. I had all these seizures one day, somewhere between 10 to 20 seizures that day. And like, I hadn't had them before. I haven't had them since, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
And so they put me into a medically induced coma to calm the brainwaves down. And so I was in it for about 3 weeks. And then when I woke up, the doctor had told me it was going to be a few months, probably a year, before I got to leave. And I told him I was going to be home next week. And he started laughing at me. He's like, I have no clue where you're getting that idea from. It's going to be at least a few months, and then we can talk from there. And I said, well, no offense, doctor, but you don't know me. I am going to be home next week. And a week to that day, I kid you not, I made it back home.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, so I was even able to like jog in the rehab center, not far or
Wow.
long probably, but like that was one of the requirements,
Still.
and I wasn't even able to walk. I was literally paralyzed on, the left side of my body. So I went from being paralyzed to losing, about 30 pounds in that coma as well. And so, yeah, it was quite a pursuit to try to get back to, recovered and back to normal and whatever. But I know how powerful the mind is. And then I had a background of being a personal trainer. So I knew about nutrition. I knew about muscle imbalances. And, so I was able to do a lot to help rehab myself. But yeah. So anyway, after I made it back home, what I did was I wrote down everything about the experience, start to finish. And then I worked on turning it into a movie script over time. And what I ended up doing back in like August was I started creating it with my cartoon characters, because I was already starting the animation and, learning all of that. And so I have a cartoon called Jiu-Jitsu Monkey and Friends. And so I thought, what if I could just retell my story through the perspective of these characters, and then I could actually make it myself. I don't really need that many people. I don't need to now have a scene. I don't have to have a budget. I don't have to have actors. Well, I had to have actors still, but it was a lot more manageable to get voice actors because it was just my friends who are, playing the characters already,
Yep.
as opposed to needing, to get somebody. Like if I were to try to create it with actual people, which was the
Yeah.
original thought, I can't even tell you like what that budget would have been. It would have been expensive though, because you
Yeah.
need people to like travel in, and then you need to rent out like a hospital room. You need to like, I don't know, it'd be a lot. And then all the
Yeah,
dreams.
once you start pulling that thread, and you got to find the right doctor. Like, no, no, no. The other one
Right.
was I need somebody a little more dickish. This guy's too nice.
Yes.
I got to believe that you're
I
talking
don't believe
down
him.
to
Yep.
me.
Exactly.
The
So,
real question is, who would have played you? If you're
um,
your dream celebrity, who would have played you in that scenario?
So initially, when I had first thought of it, I wanted to play myself, but
Okay.
I was also thinking that I wanted to have somebody that was like a Mark Wahlberg type of figure. Um, but at the same time, it wouldn't have worked with like the age range because I don't know how old Marky Mark is right now, but he's like got to be in his 40s, maybe 50s.
Yeah.
And when this happened to me, I was 21.
Right.
23. But in the dream, one of the dreams, it was my 21st birthday in one of the dreams. So that's why I get confused. But
Yep.
I was turning 23 while I was in that hospital. And yeah. But anyway, so I ended up making that film, and it's going to eventually go on to Prime Video.
That's
And
awesome. Congratulations.
thank you. It's called Coma Dreams. A coma is just a comma in your life.
I love it.
Thank you.
That whole story is very inspirational, and like just the will that you had too when somebody tells you of like, yeah, it's going to be this long, and just the amazing part about how our bodies work, where it's like when you really do put yourself to something, and
Mhm.
it's every cliche that's written on every other Instagram tab, or it's hanging in everybody's home
Right.
in cursive, but it's like you're the walking living proof of it, which is
You can actually apply
amazing.
it. Right.
Yes, to be able to say like, no, I'm going to make this work, and then it's like that seventh day to the day to kind of like the happiness to be able to walk by the doctor and be like, told you so. Like
Yeah.
that is very
Yeah.
impactful, and that's
Yeah.
a story where even on a sliding scale, if somebody just persevering over something, they're going to be able to relate to that in some way, and you'll I'm sure you'll hear people in some way too of having their own relation of like a medical incident, a medical accident, and overcoming it and being like, I proved them wrong too, and I absolutely love that type of thing.
Right. And that's something that I'm going to eventually create like a separate podcast for, I think, or branch this out into more where I'm interviewing people that have had different experiences, near death experiences, health issues, like whatever, that have overcome them. And because there's got to be there's a lot of people out there that have overcome
Yep,
obstacles, and
easily.
overcome some form of health issue. And, so it is relatable. And then for people who have never experienced it, they've at least had some sort of obstacle in their life that they're
Hmm.
now going to be able to relate it to and be like, look, if coach made it through this and he survived the coma, I can, walk to my car or whatever the fuck it is,
Yep.
whatever basic little thing that, people want to complain on. It'll help give them a little more perspective as well. And,
Perseverance is perseverance, no matter how big, how small the obstacle. And it's like your body calluses and toughens and hardens up from it's like we were able to overcome this. And then, even for you to have such a big monumental, event that you overcame, and it's like if you spilled your coffee, somebody cut you off in traffic, whatever, like little
yeah,
thing that happens, it's kind of just like a gnat that just like, okay, that's fine. It's just, even walking away from it to be so much more grateful to like, I'm sitting outside, I got the sun out, it's a beautiful day. It's like, I'm just soaking all of this in because I was expected to be, in a medically induced coma for the rest of my life.
right, right, exactly. So, every day above ground is a good day. And, yeah. So, but truth be told, I'm not always happy, and
Hmm.
I do at times have little things that will frustrate me,
Oh, yeah.
and but that's just a human response,
Hmm.
and then a lot of times, truth be told, a lot of times when I tell that story, I don't even necessarily believe that it's me
Right.
because I wouldn't believe the story if I didn't go through it. Like it doesn't feel as if I actually went through it, but I know I
Hmm.
did. And it's like, I don't know, but I know I had that experience, but at the same time, I don't feel the effects from it, I guess, is what I'm
Hmm.
trying to say. So it almost doesn't seem like it's real, but it was.
Yeah, this big event along the spectrum, and to still be able to go and train later on in life to have such a a great life in terms of what you have now compared to what it could have been. It's like, did that really happen still? And it's that
Yeah.
there's that comma in your life, right? Like it
Yes.
just kind of happened where it's like, oh, this thing. Some people just
Exactly.
like sandwich it in there, and oh, by the way, I spent $1 million, and then I want it all back, and I was in a coma. But anyways, can you pass me the salt? Like you just kind of
Right.
that's
Right.
a great icebreaker.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's, probably the story I share the most, truthfully, because I know
Yeah.
that that's the one that can, bring me closer to where I want to be, I guess,
Hmm.
because I want to be able to inspire people with that story as well as, whatever else comes to mind of how I can inspire. But, I know that that's the thing that's going to like make me known, I guess, is, well, that and then probably the podcast as well is going to
Hmm.
eventually be something huge. But like, yeah. So the comma in my life, and so I kind of made the film a comma in my life as well, where the coach character has all kinds of different appearances throughout, but he still looks the same, but still different in each basic clip, and so he'll go back and forth in between appearances because well, I, really, because the AI, was just generating it that way. I was moving too quickly, not fixing it. But
Right.
then it became because coach is trying to figure out who he really is aside from this, experience. And so then now that I have the film like finished, he is going to have a consistent look moving forward as a human, as opposed to being half man, half bear, half pig, half, monkey man, bear pig you know um so yeah, and so
And
it's good.
you can really assimilate it too. It's like we're all finding our way through life, and then we eventually come to what we are. If you really want to like, you drill down on the symbolism in it, and then you're like, yeah, it wasn't me just forgetting to edit this or changing that, but it clicks and it works.
Right,
So like, hey, if it works and somebody resonates with it, then you're like, yeah, that's exactly what I want from it. It's like it's
exactly,
art. You're able to take away what you want to take away from it.
exactly. All right, so I'm realizing we've been talking for a good amount of time, which is great. I'm glad we got this in today,
Yeah,
and I'm glad we
absolutely.
got to talk. Is there anything else that you want to share about what you do or advice for fighters before we go?
I mean, finding Fight Plan Pro and being able to, I'm very fortunate to give insight for you. And I really appreciate you being open to any of the feedback of like just adjustments
Always.
or ways to like collaborate. And I didn't want to thinking like some person in the mountain where, I'm talking down, but it was like you have this amazing option. You have this amazing resource for fighters and anybody in the combat sports community that's like, hey, you can make this even better if you tweak this. What do you think about that? And you took whatever I had and ran with it, and it was like whatever magic you did behind the scenes, it just made it look a lot cleaner. Every time I log on, it was like something was a lot more fresher. It was like easier to navigate, and it was just from that, it's like you have such a big momentum where to be able to be a resource, I'm really fortunate of in any way, shape, or form to be able to answer questions that anybody might have. Like I'm always open to and available to assist in that any way. But like you're really cooking with fire in terms of what people really want and need, and it's in your hands, and it's live, and you have this great communication channel where people can really help and link together, all around the country, all around the world. That it's really really special, and I'm just very fortunate to like help be a part in any way, shape, or form in the recovery, the mobility. If people have questions, whether it's in person, whether it's virtual, I help all realms. Like I'm happy to be of assistance for folks that want to train hard, have big aspirations, have big goals. They want to avoid, injuries derailing their training. They don't want to say no. They don't want to stop. That's my big task and my mission.
I like that. I like that. And
My
I'm
long-winded mission.
grateful. I'm grateful to have you be a part of this as well. And there's going to be a lot more to come out of it. And I don't know if I told you about the original idea from a couple years ago that this was. Did I or no?
No, I remember
Okay.
I heard that it was like only fighters in the
Yep.
beginning, and yeah, I
Yep.
love the play in the name. I love the play
Yeah.
in the name too, and
I didn't even know what
it's
the idea was going to be when I came up with the name. I just
yep,
took the name and just started asking fighters if I could tell them about it. And
yep,
then they started kind of making up what they thought it was as one of the questions that I would ask them in the podcast.
hmm
Um, so, like, I would explain the ideas I had of what it would be, could be, and then ask them what it meant to them. And then I would get all kinds of ideas from there. And then I'd be like, all right, cool. Now that's going to get implemented. Now that's going to get implemented. This is great. I love that idea, you know? And so I kind of tried to follow the same pattern this time. But back then I had hired somebody to create it and they did not do a good job with it. And in fact, they wanted me to continue paying them to like just have it online. And
okay,
I had already outsourced that to somebody on my team.
yep,
And so like I didn't need them. I just needed them to create it, not manage it. And
hmm
so because I didn't hire him for that, the next day after it was online, it was immediately taken down and nothing to be found. And it was like he had some kind of back door in it or something where
of
he was able to
course,
just pull it and just like, and then, you know, he wouldn't respond to any emails, wouldn't, nothing, and no phone calls, anything. And so I, you know, became very discouraged for a while because
hmm
I wasted a lot of time and money and, you know, I built a lot of momentum that kept like, oh no, we got to wait a few months. Oh, we got to wait until this day now. Oh, we got to wait till this day now because the delay kept launching or kept the
yep,
launch kept delaying. Wow. Um, but yeah, and there was one point where, and I haven't shared this story on the podcast, so I'm gonna do that now because I think it's worth
ooh,
doing.
exclusive,
Exclusive. So I at one point felt like I needed help and I needed somebody to handle the business end of it because
hmm
I was just the idea guy. And
hmm
so the person who came to my mind was, and a little backstory behind this, I was an Amazon delivery driver at one point, and so I was still in touch with one of the people that was like, I don't know, kind of in charge of that. And so I had reached out to him to like, I was trying to get just like a part-time job delivering, I think. And but I really didn't want that. You know, I just wanted the interview. And so he got me set up with the interview. And the guy who was like running the place who I had worked for before, I knew he was a huge MMA fan. And so I showed up to the interview and he's like remembered me. And then he's asking me like, okay, so you want to drive again and deliver and da 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 da. And I was like, no, actually, I might have a better opportunity for you. And then I started pitching him only fighters.
yep,
And then like a few weeks later, he was going to be my CEO. And you know, and he doesn't know that I was calling him this because it was just in my head that I called him this. But his name
yep.
was Joe, so I called him CE Joe.
That's perfect. It
Yeah.
fits.
Yeah, but he's not involved with this now because he kind of gave up on the idea and just like
hmm
you know disappeared from the face of the earth. And I wanted to keep trying for a little bit longer, but like you know there was nothing there at a certain point.
Right.
And so yeah, so that was a big part of it. And then now that I you know I've come back to it, I started learning how to you know create it myself because I knew that it wouldn't work if I hired somebody else to create it. And I knew that I didn't want to have to rely on somebody else, especially if there was like a change I wanted made.
hmm
Then you know I want to be able to do it quickly. Like especially if a fighter's like, "Hey, this
That
part doesn't work," then I want to be able to fix it right then, right away, as
that's
opposed
one
to like,
thing.
yeah,
That's one thing I saw is like I could message you Friday at 5, and then within like an hour, it was like, "Hey, it's done. Hit refresh. Let me know what you think." Like the edits were so quick, and like right from the jump, you did the right process of like asking people like, "Hey, what would you want? What would you want?" And then it's like pooling all of the top responses and like the overlapping themes, and it's because you could have easily just been like, "Here's what I want," and then nobody would want it. But in
right,
like when you find like exactly what people are looking for and how you want it to react, how you want it to talk to you, and respond, it's like that is perfect in that realm, and it gives it kind of like a nice resource, and then you have like the human element behind it too, which is fantastic.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm trying to get the best of both worlds, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and oftentimes, like when I create videos or content, I'll say that I'm the creator, but AI is the enhancer.
Yep.
However, for this app, I would say AI is the creator and I'm the enhancer. So it's
Hmm.
almost like we switched roles in that way. Because I could not have built it without AI technology. I could not have built it without ChatGPT giving me instructions every step of the way, how to fix it, how to
Hmm.
build it, how to create it, you know. Um, but, you know, with all the time that I've put into it now, it's become super easy to where I can fix things, you know, relatively quick, especially if I get a screenshot, because then I can see exactly where it is.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, but it's all, you know, it's all building up and coming together. And that was, I guess that was the part I wanted to share, the CE Joe story, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, we will definitely have you on the podcast again,
Thank
and we're
you.
going to continue improving Fight Plan Pro. And soon enough, it's actually going to be able to stream podcast as well. So we could do the next podcast through there.
That's awesome. Yeah, that would be taking technology to a whole nother level. I absolutely
Yeah,
love it. And yeah, injury questions, anything, AMA, whatever people want, whatever topics, like we could dive into the whole kit and caboodle. I love it.
absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you for making the time today, and
Thank
we
you for
will talk
having me.
again soon.
Yes, have a great week. Take
All
care.
right.
Yeah.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
No vibes. No hope. We came with a plan. Yeah, no guessing, no fear when the cage door slams. Every move mapped out, that's a fight plan. Round by round, we don't wing it, man. Train smart, fight clean, that's a fight plan. Camp clock ticking, sweat on the floor. Data on the tablet, not a prayer anymore. We know where you win, we know where you fall. So we don't chase knockouts, we collect rounds all. Distance control, don't bite on the bait. If he blitzes early, let him gas, let him break. No ego in the pocket, no pride in the fire. We survive, then we rise, then we drown as desire. When the lights get loud and the mind gets tight, this ain't improv, this is chess in a fight. No guessing, no fear when the cage door slams. Every move mapped out, that's a fight plan. Round by round, we don't wing it, man. Train smart, fight clean, that's a fight plan. If this happens, do this. If that fails, reset. Win the round, then the fight. No vibes, no hope, just facts in hands. Pressure with purpose, that's a fight plan. Walk out calm, walk out the man. Smart beats tough, that's a fight plan. Digital corner. Real results. Fight plan. Skins under fire, life throwing the heat. Firework steps in naturally. Feet on Yeah. Thought I was a hero, turns out I was tired. Thought love was a spark, but my wallet was on fire. Patience is a virtue, I was rich in the wrong way. Coach had a whistle, she still hadn't blown it. Let go, you're free. Let go. Hey, look, I don't simp, I support, there's a difference, I swear. But somehow every crisis end up parked in my care. Every soon got extended, every next week got bent. I was funding potential, not the present I meant. Take your time, heal up, I got you, no stress. Next thing I know, I'm cash apping my piece to distress. Doctor on vacation, lawyer need a break. Why everybody healing on my paycheck? I'm the coach, talk discipline, life lessons, grit. But skip the chapter called Who You Investing In. Talking about divine timing, I'm like, cool, I'll wait. But divine timing never showed up with a date. Yeah. Thought I was a hero, turns out I was tired. Thought love was a spark, but my wallet was on fire. Patience is a virtue, I was rich in the wrong way. Coach had a whistle, she still hadn't blown it. Let go, you're free. Let go. Let's be honest, gotta laugh at me. Confuse being kind with liability. If you need a savior, I grab the cape. But why gotta drown just to prove I'm great? I'm learning, help ain't help if it hurts your spine. Trust ain't trust if it costs your time. Love ain't love if it lives on someday and almost don't pay rent in my real life, eh? I don't hate women, nah, cut that noise. I hate patterns wrapped up in a pretty voice. You can care and still say I'm done with the cost. That ain't selfish, that's a boundary, boss. If they want you, they show up. If it's real, it don't need a receipt. If you gotta keep proving your worth, you already underpaid. So I move different, still kind, still me. But I study red flags like it's film on repeat. No more hold me down while I figure it out. Cause I figured me out and I'm choosing that route. I want effort, not echoes, plans, not vibes. If we build enough future, it starts in real time. I'll show love when it's mutual, give space when it's fair. But I'm done auditioning for love with my care. Yeah, thought I was a hero, turns out I was tired. But was a spark, but my wallet was on fire. If patience is a virtue, I was rich in the wrong way. Coach had a whistle, she still hadn't blown it. Let go, you're free. Yeah, still a hero, just smart and inspired. Hard on the field, but my boundaries wired. If patience is a virtue, I invested my way. Coach learned a lesson, now I'm winning the game. Let go. Let go. Everybody over giving, over trusting, over waiting. Wait, bro, you just overdue for a boundary. Yeah. Woke up late, hair wild, still a mess though. Mirror looking back like, bro, what's the dress code? Life hitting fast like a right to the temple. But I'm still standing, guess I'm kinda essential. Yeah, I've been down, had doubts in a bundle. Brain doing flips like a damn Royal Rumble. Overthinking every text I ain't sent yet. But I ain't losing, I just ain't win yet. And I've been stressing about the timeline, like I'm late but I'm right on time. Had to learn how to trust my grind, even when it's all uphill climb. I know I'll be alright if I just keep up the fight. I'm gonna keep on shining my light. It's my time, it's my life. I know I'll be alright if I just keep up the fight. I'm gonna keep on shining my light. It's my time, it's my life. Yeah, I used to chase validation heavy, now I'm chasing dreams. Got my foot on the Chevy, people didn't see me, now they acting friendly. Funny how the glow make them all forget me. I was sitting low, now I'm building leverage, turning all the pain into something legendary. Used to need a yes, now I'm cool with a maybe, cause the path I'm on gonna pay me daily. Yeah, I fell off, got back up twice, took a few L's but I learned the price. Now I'm moving smart, I don't roll no dice, I just bet on me and I roll that life. I know I'll be alright if I just keep up the fight. I'm gonna keep on shining my light. It's my time, it's my life. I know I'll be alright if I just keep up the fight. I'm gonna keep on shining my light. It's my time, yeah, it's my life. Hold up, wait, let me talk my talk. Had to learn how to move, had to learn how to walk. Had to cut some ties, had to tighten my circle. Now I'm locked in mode, tunnel vision, no hurdles. Yeah, I used to trip on the past like daily. Now I'm locked on the future, moving wavy. If you doubt me now, better save that energy, cause I'm coming back with a whole new legacy. It's my time, it's my life. I know I'll be alright if I just keep up the fight. I'm gonna keep on shining my light. It's my time, it's my life. I know I'll be alright if I just keep up the fight. I'm gonna keep on shining my light. It's my time, it's my life.
5 a.m. glow, city still sleeping, mind already running, I'm 10 moves deep in, game plan mapped out, vision HD, no brain fog here, that's not me. Steam rising slow from the cup in my hand, ideas light up like I drew up the plan, every rep counts, every thought sharp, fuel for the grind and the creative spark. This ain't just caffeine in a cup, there's that clarity when it's crunch time. What's up? When the pressure hits, I don't panic, I see the whole board clear in front of me. Go, go, go! Coach's cognitive coffee, money roll coffee, that's the key. Stay locked in, stay focused, stay ready, mind steady, vision heavy. Coach's cognitive coffee, money roll coffee, fueling me when the stakes get high and the lights get bright. I'm sharp all day, I'm locked all night. 'Cast mic on, headphones tight, big ideas coming left and right. No hesitation, no delay, clear decisions every day. From the chessboard moves to the business plays, from the gym floor grind to the long work days. It's mental edge in every sip, confident, steady, no slip. You can feel a shift when it kicks in clean, tunnel vision but the picture's seen. Not hype, just clarity, built for longevity. Go, go, go! Coach's cognitive coffee, money roll coffee, that's the key. Stay locked in, stay focused, stay ready, mind steady, vision heavy. Coach's cognitive coffee, money roll coffee, fueling me. Sharp thoughts, long game, no fog in sight. Brute for the win every night. A coma is just a comma in your life. Trust and believe everything will be alright, be alright. You ain't done yet, you just pause mid-fall in your life. Trust and believe everything will be alright, be alright. You ain't done yet, you just pause mid-fall. Trust and believe everything will be alright. You ain't done yet, you just pause mid-fall. I was walking through the jungle with my people by my side. Didn't know that in a moment I'd be fighting for my life. Felt the world start spinning, colors all fade to white. Next thing I knew, I was falling out of sight. Heard voices in the darkness saying, coach, hold tight. But the fear in Queen Disley had me wanting to fight. Dreams turn to storms when you can't stand the bright. But every storm breaks when you step into the light. A coma is just a comma in your life. Trust and believe everything will be alright, be alright. You ain't done yet, you just pause mid-fight. Trust and believe everything will be alright. You ain't done yet. yet, you just paused mid-fight. In the hospital bed, trying to piece back time. Maya told me, breathe, one step you'll climb. Truth lying, drop facts while the monitors chime. Said your brain hit a wall, but your hope still shines. Juji made jokes when the nights felt long. Panda read stories, keeping my heart strong. Hilarious hood pulled pranks, but he meant no wrong. And Stamps hustled salts when the pressure felt on. Every dream I battled was a lesson in disguise. Every fall just a setup for a stronger rise. When Queen JC cried, man, it opened my eyes. I ain't quitting on my people, ain't no goodbye. A coma is just a comma in your life. Trust and believe everything will be alright. Be alright. You ain't done yet, you just paused mid-fight. Trust and believe everything will be alright. You ain't done yet, you just paused mid-fight. He's good. He's more than good. He's still winning. A setback ain't a sentence. It's just a pause in the paragraph. I woke up with a vision and a fire in my chest. Every scar I carry is a reason I'm blessed. Life hit hard, but I hit back twice. Yeah, I'm alright.
Thank you to my sponsor, Coma Dreams. A coma is just a comma in your life. Tonight proved that you pause, you breathe, and you finish the sentence. We did that, we finished
You
it.
looked unstoppable out there.
I didn't quit. Coma Dreams prove comebacks are real. Thank you, coach. I told y'all, no matter how deep it gets, wake up and fight.
Coma Dreams stayed with me. It reminded me not to take any day for granted. Just being healthy, training, and showing up is something to be thankful for.
I didn't expect this, but Coma Dreams actually hit me. Watching Coach go through that made me realize how fragile life is and why you don't waste your shot. This isn't a movie, it's life. It is what it is.
You know, I didn't expect to get hit this hard by a film, but Coma Dreams just wrecked me in the best way. The way it showed someone fighting their way back, step by step, it felt honest, like rolling here on the mats.
All right, I watched Coma Dreams, and I'm going to tell you, Coach's recovery, that was truly inspiring. That's a story worth watching.
I've chased titles my whole life. Coma Dreams reminded me the real prize is waking up and getting another chance. I'm grateful. Thank you, Coach. I've been knocked down more times than I can count. Coma Dreams reminded me, you never quit, you keep standing back up. Shout out to Coma Dreams. A coma is just a comma in your life. We finished the sentence and we finished the fight. Thank you, Coach.
Congratulations on the win. What's the message tonight?
Train by day, Coma Dreams by night. All day.
What have been your thoughts on Fight Plan Pro so far?
It's extremely helpful to kind of get that simulation.
So like being able to log that stuff, because there's not really any apps that you can do that.
It actually looks pretty cool. It seems like a really good resource.
So it's designed to be an all-in-one resource to help you make your life easy.
I really like that.
I think it'll make a good difference for me.
It is next level, man.
Man, I'm telling you right now, train by day, Fight Plan Pro by night, all day, baby. That app got me locked in. Recovery, mindset, discipline, tracking everything, and I get rewarded with Coach Coin just for putting in the work.
Every day I put in the work. It ain't for likes, it's for legacy. Fight Plan Pro keeps me locked in. I train, I track, I recover, I grow, and I get rewarded with Coach Coin for staying disciplined.